What's upper, Dub Nation? We are live here, and we've got a couple guests, and I'm also going to do an unboxing of another box of shot-ready books that we're going to give away. Excuse me, during a thing that we're doing coming up called the Love Your Dubs Summit. And let's bring on our first guest because he's got a hard stop at 5:30, and I want to make sure we get everything. And in fact, I'm going to utilize this video exactly for the summit. So it's kind of a live thing that will then go on the summit, and just kind of weird. But we'll bring on D.Hardee of DubNationHQ. Daniel,
what's going on, Rich? How you doing, man?
Going wild. Just rattling off these interviews so far, and decided to go live here. Oh, we've got Nathan Canilao of the San Jose Mercury Bay Area News Group. He reports on the Valkyries. He'll hop on later as well. But how are you doing, Daniel?
Doing all right, man. Enjoying my weekend, trying to currently work on an article for DubNationHQ talking about Steph Curry's last year, and we can look forward to this year. So it's interesting going back and looking through his stats from the videos there and seeing just he's like the ageless wonder at this point.
Yeah, I know, huh? He says he's gonna go every 2 years, or think of it in 2-year increments. I guess year 2 of the last increments is this year, right? Did you notice anything else in his stats while doing your research?
Yeah, the one that's taken me the most, obviously, he's the first player to ever reach the 4,000 three-pointers club, which is insane. We're talking about a number that no one had ever imagined hitting, so that's pretty cool. But also averaging 24.5 points per game, made him the highest scoring guard at his age of, I think it was 36 years old, going to 37, surpassing Michael Jordan, surpassing Kobe Bryant. So if you think about it, in terms of what we knew about Steph Curry when he first came to the league, and the questions about, his body, if he, handle the grind over a full career, a full season, let alone that, now looking at it where at this point of his career, he's actually scoring more points than MJ or Kobe. It's just insane.
That is absolutely an insane stat. That's would have never thought, what are the other things that you're working on right now?
Well, basically, with the season coming up, with the DubNationHQ, myself, Apricot, WDubs, and Nate, we've been last season for the first time ever having new people join the team. Folks like Riley Goucher, Duncan Morrow, our guy Splash Bro. Everybody knows Splash Bro. He's the most famous guy with the blue afro in Dub Nation, always around.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Effectively, we've been trying to add more and more wits to the mix. So as we're coming to the new season, it's exciting. Those guys have already had 1 year under their belt, and they're also giving us veterans some load management too. So we're excited for
that. So you're getting your own taste of that. Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, live the dream.
You know how it is, man. When we do all this work for so many years, sometimes it can kind of blur together. So it's great to have some fresh legs to keep it going.
Yeah. So why don't we let the audience know, just who you are, and I think you started with Golden State of Mind, right? And just give your origin story, and then where you guys are right now, and what kind of features that you focus on.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. So basically, back in 2017, I want to say, I came aboard Golden State of Mind as an official blogger. Before that, I was in the comment section as a Gold-Blooded King, and back in those times, it was a little different where the Warriors were on the rise and coming up, and so effectively there were a lot of teams out there who just didn't respect us, really. They were a flash in the pan, and so their fan base would kind of talk down to us that way. And so it's like my introduction to the whole blogosphere. So when I realized what was happening, I was pounding the rock where the Spurs were, where the Dream Shake, where the Houston Rockets were, and having their comment section as the Gold-Blooded King, an antagonistic troll was always, preaching, about the good word of the Golden State Warriors franchise. Me from Oakland myself, born and raised here, and a hooper in my own right, I always felt like I took it personal. Even when the team was trash, I was like, hey, that's my team that's trash you're talking about there. So as the team was kind of rising up that 2014, 2015 season, and we're winning games, and then we win the championship, I'm in all kind of people's one second, Rich. I gotta knock at the door. Yeah. 1 second there. I'll be right back.
We'll come right back to the what was it called? The comment section of that. I could ad lib real quick. So we're gonna first do the unboxing, which I don't know. You can see in the thumbnail, and then he's back. All right.
Little Amazon package.
Oh, cool. Hang on here. How do I do this? Here we go.
Sorry about that. So anyways, basically,
hang on 1 second. One thing that we're doing when we edit these, which we will edit it to make it a little more streamlined within the summit, is we have this code word. So it's pomegranate. So
okay, all right.
Pomegranate. All right.
Right
on. Okay, so you're in the comment section of opposing SB Nation sites such as Dream Shake and Pounding the Rock.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of going crazy. I've kind of built a persona for myself, using a lot of like a combination of ancient, Shakespearean prose, and also East Oakland, mess talking, and basically combine them together. So people are just like, they think I'm funny. They think I'm terrible. I even got banned from Fear the Sword after we destroyed them on MLK Day during the 2016 year. And it was a thing that I kind of, even amongst Golden State of mine, I don't think people knew how to handle me or deal with me. It was like, who's this guy coming out of nowhere? He's a troll. He's a bandwagon fan, et cetera, et cetera. And I wrote a piece, my first fan post, back in, I want to say, summer of 2016, after the Warriors blew the 3-1 lead. I think it was called I watched Game 7 again with some beer, right? And it was my first time actually taking all my thoughts up into a cogent kind of format, and got some good responses. And then the next year, after we beat them, Cleveland, that is, in 2017, with Kevin Durant, we we're on a high that was just so amazing after the 73 win season ending in such a terrible, just painful defeat, and coming back that strong with KD and everything. It was just like a whole refresh. That I wrote an article basically that said how I think it was like the GSOM Stoner details how the Warriors broke Kyrie Irving and the Cavaliers, something like that. And so I just ranted. I was just going in, just going. I mean, it's hell long, just me ranting, but I kind of found a sense of style where I was taking real life storytelling from my own, my personal family background, growing up in Oakland, and really making a personal kind of tale of my fandom combined with the analysis of the game. I think I hit like a junction there where people were like, okay, this guy's authentic, this guy's hilarious, but this guy actually understands the game of basketball. So you can learn something and also be entertained. And from there, our boy Nate brought me on board, and I started my whole journalism career there.
Wow, I actually had never known your origin story. You were a troll, but that, first of all, but I don't think you were like a troll as we know them and assume the word troll. We can picture it kind of on Twitter. I think you're probably a little bit, first of all, nicer, and just you mentioned Shakespeare, so like you're coming up with these witty things that aren't necessarily I don't know, you describe it. I mean, are you like personally attacking people on Fear the Sword with well,
I mean,
or how do you
I'm sure according to them I was, but for me, I was more personally attacking their belief in LeBron James. I was personally attacking their bias against the Warriors as remember, it was like y'all got lucky. Remember the whole era there? So I was more responding like, oh, so if we're lucky, then look at these stats. If we're lucky, how do we win the first 24 games of the season? If we're lucky, why do we break all the records? So basically, kind of, when I say trolling, it was really more like in the sense like a first take episode where you're kind of using stats to get, back and forth, some jabs.
And then when we did blow the 3-1 lead, I mean, how did you cope with that? Because they could always go back to you blew a 3-1 lead. In fact, I feel like on Twitter, that's when, to me, Twitter started getting more toxic because, but that's just a sort of a theory of mine that might be wrong. And instead of Cleveland celebrating their own championship, which hadn't happened in years, they keep, in the replies of us, blew a 3-1 lead every single time. And it's like, are you enjoying your championship? So I'm wondering how you survived that, because I don't think I really survived it. I just realized it was getting more and more toxic.
I felt like, when you're actually a fan of the Golden State Warriors, that means you actually have some understanding of like the franchise's history. And I mean, at that point, us making the playoffs was like a miracle. Like we believe it was like literally a miracle, right?
Yeah.
And so then after we believe, we didn't make the playoffs for 7 years or 6 years or something like that, right? So yeah. I still had that grounded perspective of we're playing with house money. Like, okay, we blew a 3-1 lead, and I would love to get this everything win record there, but also like to know where we had just came from in recent history. I was like, you can't hurt me. You can't hurt a Warriors fan's heart. Like I've seen us trade Chris Webber for nothing. I've seen us give away Baron Davis to the Clippers. I've seen Monte Ellis hit the moped accident. You know what I mean? I've seen this. Don't
forget Jason Richardson for what became Patrick O'Brien, I think. No, it was Brandon Wright.
Right, Brandon Wright. Yeah,
yeah, a lot of. I mean, yeah, they were aiming for KG and it fell through. But then, bottom line is we lost Jay Rich for Brandon Wright. What the heck?
Yeah, devastating, dude. Devastating.
One amongst, you just listed off so many, but yeah.
So at that point, if your thing is, oh, you guys won the most regular season games ever, and then fell 1 quarter short of completing the greatest season in the history of basketball, if that's the biggest insult you can give me, I suddenly realized we were in different rarefied air. Which I remember, the LA Lakers. I remember when they had their Shaq and Kobe 3-peat, right? And then they went to the 4-peat. And they lost. Everyone was like, ha, 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 you can win 4 in a row. But it's like, right. What are we talking about? 4 in a row,
They just won 3, which is like almost unheard of. Yeah. Okay, so you were trolling SB Nation fan sites, but on behalf of Dub Nation, so thank you for, being the torchbearer there. And then after that, or how did you end up at DubNationHQ? I guess keep going.
Yeah. So basically, it was a fascinating time. Basically that whole KD era with the Warriors. As there was an insane, never before seen amount of attention on that team. The media coverage was 24/7 on that team. This is back when we were still in Oakland, so like you could still hop on the BART and just walk to the Oracle. You know what I mean? So it was like it was still our backyard squad, but the world was watching. I remember running into Mark Spears just randomly at the game. Like I'm like, you're here at damn near every game. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's right because the Warriors are like the hot ticket in town. I remember seeing Stephen A. Smith randomly, getting a beer and just being like, wow, like I never thought I'd see you here. I thought you'd be at a Laker game or a Miami Heat game or something like that. So to have all that concentration there. I was really blessed to be able to be a part of that wave. I really feel like at that time, the crew we had, the good folks, again, Nate P, basically put the whole team together. I think Andy from Lightyear Squad was part of that a little for me. You had Dubs, you had Apricot, just doing his thing. There was a lot of Patrick Murray, Dr. Tom. There were a lot of guys here who were just like putting a lot of creativity during a time when the spotlight was the brightest. And then we kind of just like made the blog explode. Like we were the #1 blog on SB Nation as far as basketball goes. Our traffic was through the roof. And so because of all the eyeballs, I had a lot of inspiration to just do zany things, right? Where, I came up with the gold-blooded kind of moniker, which, I remember the weaponized joy moniker. I think I was the first person to ever say the Warriors take joy and use it as a weapon. I remember Brian Windhorst on ESPN said it on First Take one day, and I was like, wait a minute, he's reading my stuff. You know, I'm kind of going viral here. You know, so
right.
At a certain point there, you know, I had friends and family being like, oh my God, I saw your article here. And because you know, the SEO, because of the attention the team was getting, my stuff's getting bumped to the top, you know, along with the rest of the guys. So I'm officially becoming a part of the conversation. In fact, I would say I'm in some ways with my guys leading the conversation about the Dubs, because we're actually hometown fans who really, really care. So kind of in the way that Marcus Thompson has a skill, let you know, even though he doesn't present as a fan, you know that he has a tie to the team based on his roots that changes it from someone from, you know, Bristol, Connecticut, talking about the Warriors there. So I feel like it was time, location, and just me just taking an opportunity to the point that, you know, during the 2019 year, I remember in the finals, CBC News, who playing the Raptors, they reached out to me, and I had my first international news feature where I'm being, you know, a correspondent there. And then after we lost that, Katie got, you know, kind of left the team with the Achilles injury. Clay gets injured, and the team is like dismantled. Then NBC and Southwest asked me to come for a commercial situation where, you know, talking about the real fans who still stick by the team. So we would go at Dallas. I see a young Luka Doncic have 42 points, I think 13 rebounds and 10 assists and 3 quarters on us in Dallas, which was, you know, horrific from a Warriors fan, but also pretty cool to see a young guy being that good. You know, I didn't know if he was really. Those experiences there kind of, I think, crystallized my credentials at that point. And then the pandemic hits, and Vox Media cuts our contracts, and so we go from on top of the world in the blog world into basically, you know, being a bunch of guys without a home. And that's where, you know, I met you, Rich, because basically with your wonderful platform, you graciously took us in and, you know, provided a safe harbor from that follow from Vox Media to be able to bring that community, you know, who at the time, I think we had like arguably the best comment section on the internet as far as basketball goes, and to bring that into Let's Go Warriors and kind of get that vibe going, it was a blessing, man. I mean, I don't think we could have kept our careers going in journalism without you, Cambria and Bella. So, you know, big shout out to you for allowing us to be with the Let's Go Warriors brand. At that point, now we're doing YouTube videos. You know what I mean? Now, thanks to you, I'm getting to meet, you know, Steph Curry's trainer. You know what I mean? Draymond Green's trainer, James Wiseman's trainer, having interviews at just access level that allow me to sharpen my craft, you know, under your umbrella. So, you know, super grateful for that. And then, you know, when we went our separate ways, all of a sudden it was like, hold on, like, what we want to do here is like, you know, what is DubNationHQ? What we're trying to build here? And it was like, I imagine it to be like an actual bunker in the internet space where people, you know, you kind of sign up to get in there, but we're looking for the best of the best in terms of not necessarily like basketball knowledge, but fan fervor. Like, if you care about the team, I don't care if you're mad at the team, I don't care if you're happy about the team, speak your mind here in a way that everyone can digest and understand. I think, quite frankly, the community, I mean, Apricot and WWDubs and Nate have done such a wonderful job to give the sandbox for the community to be in. And, you know, obviously I'm still doing my thing, but effectively the Mission HQ is about the people in the comment section. They're the ones who are driving the energy. They're the ones who make it worth reading. You know, I'm going to always do my thing with the articles. Of course, I'm going to, you know, go crazy and stuff like that. But when you go to the comment section and you see someone taking something that I said and connecting to another thought and something going on there and expanding like this matrix-like level of networking here, I'm just really proud of that.
Yeah, no, you guys are really, you know, experts with comment sections. I got to hand it to you guys. And also, I mean, we should shout out the originators of Golden State of Mind, because it really, you know, they laid the platform down way in the beginning, and that's where I started out. And they've always done a great job in terms of like the commenting section and just it's. I'll let you describe it in a minute, but like, so I just shout out Shiloh Rao and Justin Kadama, who are the two guys that I work with. And yeah, because I was gonna say, it's not like a Twitter thread, right? Like, yours is different. How can you describe that and let us know? Because I'm sure there's people out there that's looking for, commenting that's on another level or in another context.
Yeah, totally. I mean, kind of building the foundation that I came into, with Golden State in mind, where I saw a bunch of people having just excellent hoops talk, right? And so on the internet, I think I was at work, at my old job like 10 years ago, being bored to death, like looking at like Warriors blog. I just I wanted a place to talk about my team. And so to see people who are like very knowledgeable, very resourced. I mean, we're talking about some of the deepest analytic nerds you'll ever see in your life, who taught me a lot of things about advanced statistics that I had no idea. Able to create arguments that, the best thing about sports talk is the ability to be like, I see something and someone goes, I don't know about that. And you bring your case for it. It could be anything, right? It could be like, why LeBron James is or isn't the greatest player of all time. You know what I mean? Like you have the statistical evidence you bring, the eye test you bring, and also like, because it's a team sport, you can have your favorites, you can have your guys, you can be, I was a big Andrew Wiggins guy. I created, Wiggins Island, for DubNationHQ, where it's like, I'm rooting for this guy. And the more he does well, people are like, Daniel, you're crazy. Actually, wait, he's really good at the game, so I feel vindicated, right? Then I also had like, the my worst take section where I basically said, the Warriors should have never traded Monte Ellis over Steph Curry. That was my take back then. That was so terrible, obviously, in retrospect. But at the time, there are a lot of people who felt that way. You know what I mean? So I love the idea of crystallizing these debates here, and kind of, I would say that if I write an article or make a video or apricot or something like that, basically it's like putting a fire in a campground and everyone comes around it. Now the fire is there to attract people and keep them warm. They can do their marshmallows or s'mores, whatever like that. But it's really the people around the fire that make the campground. And so they're using that warmth and that light to be able to have a platform to get their own stuff off. So maybe they're not an article writer, but they can sure write a quick, 4-sentence paragraph that'll make you think, And so I love having them have the opportunity and the platform to be able to just go deep, deep, deep into basketball nerddom and fandom in ways that ultimately I feel are healthy. Again, we don't want everybody saying the same thing because it's not free thought there, but also keeping it respectful and keeping it sincere.
Yeah, and I look back, we all partnered up together under the LetsGoWarriors brand for a while, but I was always out on the road and all of that, and like I don't think we ever just really had a chance to sit down and talk about that metaphor that you just said. And as you were saying it, then it's kind of like, what LetsGoWarriors does is actually a little bit different, or in some ways a lot different than what you guys do. And I mean, just all due respect, it's just like, again, I love the campfire metaphor because I feel like you guys do a tremendous job of that. And then some. I mean, there's other things like Apricot's got the E1P, which everybody likes. One time we got a comment, it was like, E1P and LetsGoWarriors is all we need. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool. But I also wanted to, find out like about, I mean, you got an award. That's pretty darn cool, man. Like, can you tell us about that award and what that was for?
Yeah. So I want to say 2020. Let's see, we drafted James Wiseman in 2020. So I think in 2021, I wrote an article just breaking down his rookie year. Because if you recall at that time, people were either very out or very in on James Wiseman with, very little to go on. He had COVID, it was a COVID-short year. He had some injuries. So there were a lot of flashes of athleticism and just, awesomeness that never quite stuck that year. But I really thought it was an interesting, source for debate. So myself and Dr. Thomas Bevilacqua, author of The Golden Age, of the Rise of Golden State Warriors. Basically, we had an article, we broke down his whole year. And I would say it was fair, but definitely from a fan's perspective of hoping that he would do well. And so the Bay Area, what's it called? The Bay Area Media Guild basically allowed us opportunity to submit some stuff. So I was like, wow, they reached out and were like, hey, you want to submit something you can? So I know I was doing it. I just kind of put something in there, pay my little fee and was like, whatever happens, happens, And then I got invited to basically participate in the award show. And I think I came in second place that year. So I was like, wow, like that's cool. You know, you're there with like Ukron and KTVU, you know, KPIX, all the big heavy hitters there. And seeing like, you know, legends in the media game there and kind of being like, wow, like, you know, this symbolizes that I've in some sense made it to a certain level where I'm being taken serious as an artist and a journalist. And so the next year, I did a piece on Andre Jones of the Bay Area mural program, where basically he did a giant like 60-foot Steph Curry mural on Broadway in Oakland in the Uptown area. And so I remember watching from my job as it was getting built and just being like, this is awesome. What's happening right there on the YMCA building where I used to play basketball back in the day. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's Steph Curry's face. Like, wait, what are you guys doing? So I came across the street, and Andre, you know, was cool enough to chat with me and basically said, you know, that he was being commissioned by Rakuten, and also was a tribute to Marcus Books and in Oakland, which is I think the oldest Black-owned bookstore in the United States. And so when I saw that happening, I was like, we got to document this, man. There's got to be some sort of understanding. Like, people are going to drive by this for decades and not have a real understanding what's happening here. Like, you know, and also like Steph Curry on a giant Oakland billboard as the team is leaving San Francisco. So there's a strong message there. Like, what does that mean? You know, so the socioeconomics of it all, you know, and also the basketball fan of it all was huge. So that piece there kind of capturing as all the sports teams were leaving Oakland, particularly the Warriors, and Steph Curry basically being like, no, my face, my impact is still going to be in Oakland. And also I want people to know, you know, in the art, he's reading the children. You know, he's just a bunch of little kids around him. He's reading them. Like, what a legacy. Like it wasn't him just like, hey, I'm shooting a hoop. But it was actually him like, you know, this is bigger than basketball, and I want to remain in Oakland. So I captured that in the article, and Andre was, you know, gracious enough to give me his time. And then I put that in, and that wins first place the next year round. So that felt like a new level for me in terms of taking the game of basketball and extrapolating it to a larger lens to be like, what's happening in Oakland? What's happening in the Bay Area? What's happening with the artists here? What's happening with the culture here? And expanding in a way that I was like, okay, now I think I understand more about why this game is so important, especially to folks from Oakland, because it symbolizes the ability to go beyond what you see.
Wow, awesome. Thanks for the explanation. I know you got a jet pretty soon, but is there anything else that you want to tell the audience, like what you're doing or anything, like anything, you know, any projects or whatever, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, well, number one, Rich, I want to thank you, man. Like, it's really, really good to see you, man. And the other folks out there, I was surprised he actually had his name, Rich, out here. I thought it was be PMC, Permanent Commission Forever, you know, so this is awesome to see that. And, you know, just it's really always appreciated the way that you, you know, open the door for us to continue to do what we do. And, you know, you're a great guy. You're a guy that I think is of high character. And what you've done independently in this game is unheard of. You know, you're doing things that truly I don't even know if people can even do what you did anymore. Your will and your timing.
Yeah, it got a little tough to do there, both physically and mentally, to go see what the Warriors were doing and try to film as much as you can. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to cut you off because, like, I have the deepest respect for you guys too. I mean, NBA blogging is not easy, and also when things are going well and you guys are you know, leading the charge as far as online activity and engagement, and then one of those billion-dollar corporations wants to step in and, you know, exert their will, those type of things. I really appreciate you guys having the resilience and to keep fighting. And who was it, the famous guy that retweeted you guys, what you were doing when you had to leave GSOM? And
Shea Serrano.
Thank you, Shea Serrano. Yeah. So yeah, what Shea said for you guys. So keep doing what you guys are doing. I think it's really cool. And yeah, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you want to check me out, I'm Weaponized Joy on Twitter. And if you want to check out what we're doing, you can go to DubNationHQ. We have a blog on Substack, and we also have a YouTube channel. I think we have like over 40K right now, still growing steadily. So check out. We got some Great stuff. You got Apricot's Explain One Play. You know, Apricot is just a super genius. He's just a genius when it comes to creating content for the Warriors fan base to eat up. He's truly a legend. So check out Eric Apricot. Also, WWDubs, you know, partner in crime, the king of previews. Check him out. Also, I'm still doing some stuff for Going to the Mind as well for Vox Media. So, you know, find me there for sure. But again, thank you, Rich, for the opportunity. As always, man, appreciate you.
All right. And Weaponized Joy, man, the best, moniker that encapsulates the Warriors and the GOAT himself. Thank you, Daniel. Have a great one, and I'll catch you soon.
Right on, man. Take care, brother.
All right. Appreciate you. All right. So thank you, Daniel. And thank you for the handful of you that have hopped on. Let's see. It is 5:30. Wanted to have a lot of respect for Daniel Hardee's time. So let me just put his name in there. Weaponized Joy, at Weaponized Joy on Twitter, where a lot of people are, for NBA news. Obviously, DubNationHQ. I should put that, actually. Daniel Hardee, Weaponized Joy, DubNationHQ.com. Go check those out. What we're going to do right now is, let me change my background. We are going to do the unboxing. You could also think of it as filler time in between now. You know who I should get? Let me get this guy that does a lot of Niner stuff. I totally forgot. My guy, Nate. Oh, I'm on the wrong phone. Hold on. Let's see. Go here. Let's see. Where is he? Nate. And let me hit up Nathan. Okay. All right. Get Nathan in here later, and we'll do a little Valkyries Q&A. So that should be fun. Let's see. Yeah, let's change the back screen. Oh, it's backwards. Change that real quick. Settings, visual effects. There's my house. Let's see. So what happens if I do this? Oh, it's backwards. It's straight backwards. Let's mirror my screen on here. Oh, I mirrored the camera by accident. I may have done that with Daniel by accident. Dang. Oh, well. No wonder I started going like this and it was like the other way. So there's a check mark when you show your camera, and I must have done a stray click on the mirror my camera option there, unfortunately. Oh, well. Okay, let's show comments on stage. No one's going to comment. All right. It's a rather quiet Saturday evening. Let's see how Cal football's doing. Cal football. Something I want to keep tabs on. Where's everybody chiming in from? At San Diego Aztecs, 7:30. So still 2 hours from now. Okay. Let me get my box opener, our box cutter. 34-minute mark. We are going to do the unboxing and maybe just read through a little bit of Shot Ready. So one more time, we are at the what mark? 35-minute mark, unboxing. And we started out with Daniel Hardee of DubNationHQ. And here's our box. It's not just one box. It's a huge box. They were gracious enough, and they meaning Penguin Random House, were gracious enough to send a whole bunch because we are doing the summit. What is the summit? Here is the summit. It's live right now, and I'll give you a coupon code to get your registration for cheaper than usual. What we have here are a bevy of speakers, one of which was Daniel. And thank you, Daniel, for hopping on live. It's kind of weird to actually have that live, and then we're going to edit the live that already happened here and rebroadcast that during the summit. Kind of weird. I think I can get away with it because there were only like 5 of us here. But yeah, loveyourdubs.com. Let's talk about the summit. So loveyourdubs.com is right here. And when you scroll down, you will see that it is an opportunity to feel the high vibrations of Dub Nation. We got some surprise guests that I will reveal during the summit. But so far, we're getting Kelenna Azubuike. We got him. Yossi Goslin is going to give us some cap sheet 101. Coach Nick is going to, do some X's and O's breakdowns. I actually asked Apricot explain one play, but he hasn't gotten back to me just yet. Franco Finn, John Dickinson, Joe Burton is a friend of Glenn Robinson's, but he has a book out, and we're going to give away that book as well. We're also going to give away the Basketball is Life cap that comes. No, it doesn't come with the book, but is part of the promotional stuff of Joe. Just good guy, coach and author, and we're going to talk about how basketball is like life. We had Dance Cam Mom already, and she was great, and just telling stories, origin stories of way back of when she started showing up on the Jumbotron. Come back to these two, but Paul Wong is the We Believe guy, and we found out when the first time it was that he brought the We Believe placard to the arena in 2007. You'll be surprised just when he did that. Whitley Sandretto is on deck, so we'll get her pretty soon. Janie McCauley and John Dickinson were on together. That was a mega panel, and man, they just talked about stuff that was really cool. Since there's only a handful of you, I can spoil it, but Janie's talking about how she remembers the We Believe team being so unselfish. I thought that was really cool. And John Dickinson just has a ton of anecdotes. He's one of the legends of Warriors radio, and yeah, all these things. Like, let's see, what's one that comes to mind other than the fact that he and I were sitting next to each other in Oklahoma City when we were down at halftime big, and then Clay brought us back. But I'll think of something later. But then we start talking to other guys like Danny Emmerman, which was great. Oh, and then Erin Wilson. She was did the Zoom, I think, yesterday. I'm losing track of my days now. And Erin was just, again, inspirational because she is here all the way from Memphis, and talked about her journey, and just kind of, joining Dub Nation, so to speak, not as a fan, but as part of the media of Dub Nation, and got her inauguration, so to speak, while Steph was on the podium and Marcus Thompson was playing around on the phone with Steph, if you guys remember that. Tim Kawakami, I'm going to interview on Monday, and obviously a legend as far as Bay Area journalists are concerned. And yeah, I got to really prepare for that, because they're just, some of these guys have such a depth of experience and knowledge that you don't even know where to start. But with Tim, we're going to once again talk about behind the scenes and all the just amazing, instances of covering the Warriors and funny stories, maybe from the Cohan era. He can maybe represent the Cohan era, because he's one of the few that has been writing about the Warriors since then. We have DubNation France in our summit, and that was cool because he always brings the people from France and Spain into the physical world, the IRL, and that is very special because not many people can pull that off. And so, yeah, let me redo this timestamps here. 35-minute mark going through the summit. Figure Nathan is still on track to hop on in 18 minutes. And continuing on with the list, Evan Lessler of Adapt is on a panel with Mike Lewanog and Christian Martin, three of the better, well-known local brands that do merch. And then we got Dustin Canilao, who, boy, talk about streetwear. Man, this guy has stories upon stories upon stories, and he's from Alameda, and he is out there in New York all the time talking to these streetwear geniuses and always representing the Warriors. And this guy designed the town jerseys, which we are bringing back this season, in case you didn't know. So, like, it was fun to talk to a legend. We got Noah Lack and EJ Kushner of, like, talking about financial type stuff. Kushner's an agent, knows a lot about this CBA, and Noah Lack has, among others, Moses Moody as a client in terms of diversifying and allowing a vehicle for athletes to pursue something that a lot of venture capital people in Silicon Valley can pursue that athletes may not be able to, which is invest in startup companies and what have you. Bram of the Warriors Huddle podcast, he dates back to, Run TMC era, and got a lot of stories from him. But his reminder to the fan base was, we better appreciate Steph these last couple years. And it was great to hear from him and get, like, his take on how we should appreciate Steph these last couple years. We just had Daniel, so obviously if you missed that, just wait until this becomes a non-live video on YouTube and go back and watch the first starting at time 0. And Riley Bermudez will hopefully have, he's a photographer for Buddy Hield. And we got a few others lined up that we're still going to have on the panel. I just haven't put them on here yet because I've been really busy. And that's the summit. Like, a ton of stuff. Like, when you're sitting there listening to Dance Cam Mom, Paul Wong, when you're sitting there listening to, like, Dustin Canilao talk about his experiences at AND1 in Philadelphia, gave me the story of how Latrell Sprewell became synonymous with AND1 back in the day. Just so many stories. We just had Aaron Showtime Taylor, the PA announcer and play-by-play guy that once did a game at Chase Center. He is originally was incarcerated in San Quentin and has a lot of stories about how things go in terms of basketball and sports with San Quentin. And also we found a nugget of a highlight from one of the Warriors, not players, but one of the guys from the Warriors staff who played in the games in San Quentin against the San Quentin Warriors, their team in there. And there's an anecdote, a highlight that's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. So what we're asking is you join the summit, you get to watch all of these speakers and more live, but sort of like a TV broadcast, not live, but like for the summit, it's like a TV miniseries. So we'll all show up next Tuesday evening after Media Day, and maybe we'll have a surprise guest from Warriors practice. You never know. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then we have a game on Sunday. But it's going to be jam-packed with sessions here. And it's just so uplifting to talk to these people and talk about the Warriors in such a positive light, honestly. We get to, this is Kevon Looney's Players Tribune on steroids. Okay, that's what this is. In fact, let's type it in. Kevon Looney Players Tribune. When you read this article, thank you, Bay Area, you get these vibes. And attending our summit is like getting those vibes for 5 days straight. And I mean, not just 10 minutes reading an article, but not just 15 minutes really, because this is a long article from Looney, but 3 hours straight of content where you really feel lucky to be a Warrior fan. One person I'm missing on here, I think I need to hit refresh. I think that's the issue here. Kelenna Azubuike, meet the speakers. Yeah, we're missing Carrie Larson. Carrie Larson is a former Warriors dance team member. And man, she told us things that I never knew about what it's like to be on a Warriors dance team. And so felt really lucky to be able to talk to her, because she's no longer with the Warriors dance team, which is honestly, it's good news for us, because then we can interview them. Whenever we're interviewing an employee of the Warriors, then it gets into a gray area, what have you. And we might have a surprise ex-Warrior where we might need to do some of that. But yeah. So I need to update this page with Carrie and Showtime Taylor. And yeah, we got 11 minutes to go. I think Nathan is just dead set on 6 p.m. So let's do the unboxing. So finally, here we are. So loveyourdubs.com. Go there, register for free. You're going to get a tripwire, which means you can upgrade to have, right now, to watch all of these things, you would have to show up to the summit every night. But if you upgrade your ticket, then you get access to all of them all at once. We're still uploading some of them. And having that access at your fingertips, we're going to have a private podcast feed. We're going to do giveaways of this book that only go to the paid ticket. So coupon code, I did it, Shot Ready 30 for $30 ticket instead of $47. It's called the All Access Pass. All right. So be sure to use the coupon code SHOTREADY30 after you register for free. You click in this, you register for free. You click on that, you put in the SHOTREADY30 and get your humongous discount. I think it's 36% discount. All right, time to do the unboxing. I need to get rid of that if we're doing the unboxing. And timestamp 50:26. Okay, so at the 50:30 mark, we did the unboxing. And then we'll take a look and just look at the book until Nathan shows up and talks about the Valkyries. Here we go. Oh, I should go on. Oh, Nathan's coming. Go on TikTok and go live. We're going to go on TikTok of all places. 210. What's up, TikTok? We're going to go live here, and we're going to do an unboxing of more Shot Ready books. And I do not know how to flip the screen. Oops. Let's see. Someone in the comments know how to flip the screen? Is it this? Share. Oh, here we go. Flip camera. Why do they do that? Why not just have an icon of flip the camera right then and there? Okay, so TikTok, we are live on YouTube as well. Here's my box of Shot Ready books, and let's get to it. Let's make sure my YouTube channel can see this as well. All right. Last time I did an unboxing, actually, on Instagram Live, which I should go live on Instagram. What am I doing? Let's see. We can go live here and here. Hold on, everybody. Let's go live on Instagram too. Let's see. Thanks for your patience, by the way. Live. We'll say unboxing another Shot Ready shipment. Shot Ready shipment. And then check stories for a YouTube link. Okay. YouTube link. Update details, go live. Whew. Pretty soon, guys. All right. Now I'm on Instagram. I got TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram going live. We are unboxing another box. What could it be? Instagram doesn't know yet. Here's what I'll do. Be sure to check our YouTube, as I'm going to have Nathan Canilao. I hope I pronounced that right. Probably didn't. And he's a Valkyries reporter for the Mercury. So very knowledgeable on the Valkyries, and can't wait to talk to him about it. All right, let me just finish this. Hang tight, Nathan. My bad. Okay. Try not to stab myself. This is a humongous box. Wow. In fact, let me just get rid of the, what do you call it? The background. You can see my messy home for now. Okay. Here we go, guys. Oh, I got 3 lives going at once, and they're all angled properly. A lot of brown paper. Ooh, TikTok gets the best view. Looks like 3 more books. So 3 more books of Shot Ready. Again, check out and put it on the screen here. Check out loveyourdubs.com, loveyourdubs.com, and discount code SHOTREADY30, SHOTREADY30, to get the ticket for the summit for $30 rather than $47. So book number 1, book number 2, and 3 in here. So we have a total of 4 books that we're giving away. And I don't think any other Warriors channel has that. So I'm pretty confident on that, and proud to say that. So Bruce is here. Good to have you, Bruce. And so, yeah, one more time on Instagram, the discount code is SHOTREADY30. And you can go to YouTube right now, loveyourdubs.com, SHOTREADY30. And write that in here, loveyourdubs.com. My iPhone wants to default it to YouTube instead of your dubs. Loveyoutube.com. Loveyourdubs.com. Shot Ready 30 is your discount code. Boom. Okay, Instagram, I'm going to leave you guys now. Go to YouTube. That's where we're going to be with Nathan, and we're going to talk about the Valkyries. I'm going to discard that video on Instagram because that video isn't all that great. But TikTok, yeah, join us on YouTube right now. Okay. Now let me fix my background. See if Nathan's around. All right, cool. Hold on, let me fix my background. Got to get the official background of tonight. And then Nathan. All right, hang on. Let's see. Your mic. For some reason, I can't hear you even though your mic is on. We had this trouble on StreamYard for a different interview. It could be can't hear you there. Are you on a phone or a laptop?
I'm on a laptop.
Oh, cool. Now we got you.
Got me? Okay, cool.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's Nathan. How do you pronounce that?
Nathan Canilao.
Canilao of, I'm typing this in. Do we just say San Jose Mercury or we got to say Bang?
I think official name would be San Jose Mercury News.
Okay, cool. And your handle is, I forget.
It's just my name. Just my name with no space.
Gotcha. There it is. You are the official beat writer for covering the Valkyries for Bay Area News Group, aka San Jose Mercury. So really pleased to have you. Let's get rid of those comments right there. Wow. What a season we just had, right?
Yeah.
Inaugural season. Can you just, anything you want to say about that? And then we do want to get into like what I love to do here on Let's Go Warriors, which is like more behind the scenes type of topics, is hear your origin story. But comment on the Valkyrie season. How would you encapsulate what you just saw?
Yeah, it was one of the, it was one of the craziest seasons maybe in the history of the Bay Area in terms of pro teams. This was a team that was slated to, I think most gambling sites had them at like 8.5 wins. I don't think there was I don't think anybody really realized, like, I think most people said, probably going to be the worst team in the league. They don't have enough talent. And then it's just crazy the way that it all played out. They had a really good June. They started to turn the corner at the end of the season. And I think through it all, like what we saw was just the greatness of Natalie Nakase, right? Like these were, again, they like to describe themselves as a team full of 6th and 7th women. They had no prior all-stars on this team. And then she made one out of Kayla Thornton. Kayla Thornton goes down mid-season. And then, you get Veronica Burton, who becomes most improved player of the year. They get into the playoffs and they give the Minnesota Lynx had literally the best season of any WNBA team in history. And they gave them a run for their money. I know they got blown out the first game, but to do what they did in San Jose and even though they fell up short, I think it just sets up for, I think, what we're going to see as one of the premier franchises here in the WNBA for a long time.
Yeah, and you mentioned the first game was a blowout. We try to do a watch party every single time on here. I haven't had time to officially start a Let's Go Valkyries thing yet, and so I've just been too swamped. But that's why we're doing Valkyrie stuff on Let's Go Warriors. I know it sounds weird at first glance, but when we watched the first quarter of game 1, I was just amazed at how well we were playing, and the Lynx caught up and then they ran away with it after halftime. But like that was just incredible basketball. And I mean, this, you're Filipino American, right? I used to play in all the Fil-Am tournaments, and I mean, I grew up with Fil-Am ballers, so I was lucky. I knew people in that community, so we played a lot of Fil-Am tournaments. We went down to Delano. I've done that. Like we get below the rim basketball is what I call it, right? Mm-hmm. And the WNBA is predominantly below the rim. Like you don't see a whole lot of dunks. So the good side of that is that you really have to play the game of basketball. And I was so just delighted to see. I mean, some of the games, it just reminds you of the best Fil-Am tournament teams. Like there's not a whole lot of dunking going on, but it's just like the ball movement and setting picks and all these plays. Like I'm so impressed. Like, and then I used to coach Asian American teams myself, and try to draw plays here and there. There's only so much you can do in a sort of recreational amateur environment, but Natalie's always drawing up the perfect play. It's like crazy. So with that being said, and that getting off my chest, because it's just such an exciting team to watch if you're really into like below the rim basketball, like pure basketball. My question to you is, what is Natalie Nakase like? And not just like, we can kind of see what it's like based on your clips from the interview room, but also like maybe at practice, like I love that when I was covering the Warriors fully, like, just to see how Steve Kerr moved around and all of that. So give us everything you can about Natalie from behind closed doors.
Yeah, I mean, Natalie Nakase is what you see is what you get. What you see at that podium is what you get. Whether you're getting, I'm sure, whether she's drinking coffee with you, whether you see her at the grocery store, like it's the same person. And I think what I think gravitates her towards so many people is that there's a certain level of authenticity that Natalie brings that, when you go to the podium, and I understand it, like I've been in the media for a little bit now, like coaches, when they get to the podium, they put on their, the smile, and they're really selling themselves, and they want to make sure they have the right answers. Natalie is not like that. Natalie is she will tell you exactly what's on her mind, good or bad, and I think that resonates not only with the fans, but it does resonate with the players. And she's intense. Like the players have said this over and over again. Like, she obviously when you see her at the games and then you see her at the podium, it's like she does smile a little bit and, she says what she's on her mind. But when she's in practice and when she's coaching, it's very intense. It's something that I remember talking to her high school coach about it. And he was saying a lot about how, when she was playing, that her teammates always respected her. And it was because of how hard she worked. And she kind of reverberates that through her players. I don't know if you've seen, but like she's talked a numerous amount of times about how she cusses so much, and that sometimes Valkyries PR has to make sure when she's at the podium, like, don't do that, it's family thing. But it speaks to her authenticity. I mean, she's just one of the more authentic coaches personalities in the league. And I think when you kind of break her down and you see what she's been able to do, she's really good at building a culture. And obviously you just talked about the X's and O's, drawing up the right plays, creating a good game plan. That's all great. But I think the fact that she was able to build a culture, be a CEO of a team, more than a coach, be someone who could direct players and get the best out of them. Look what she did with Veronica Burton, Kayla Thornton, Carla Lade, all these players that these fans have really loved. I think a big part of that is, Natalie Nakase instilling that confidence and believing in them to be, a lot better players than they probably were before the season. So I think she's going to stick around for a long time. And I think she's proven, obviously winning coach of the year in her first year, she's proven to be one of the more elite coaches here in this league.
Yeah. And, okay. So do you recall, I don't know how often you actually go to practice. I think you go to quite a few of them. But even say podium wise, what are like the top two examples of the intensity of Natalie, other than the perhaps slipping out an expletive? Can you give us one or two examples?
Yeah. One of my favorite examples is we were at practice. Maybe this is about a month ago. This is when it started to really pick up that she could be coach of the year, right? And people are starting to write articles about it, and there's columns, and people talk about it on TV. And so I remember we asked her, "Hey, you're in the coach of the year mix. Like, what does that mean to you? Like, this is your first year." And I just remember how serious she looked. She looked straight at the reporter who asked the question, and she says, "I don't care," and just left it like that for about 3 seconds. And then she went into an answer about how this should be a coaching staff award. But just the intent, like you could just see in her eyes, like she does not care about anything but winning. That one stands out to me. Another one that stands out is I remember this is really early, and this is kind of when I found out okay, like this is a different type of personality here, but it was in training camp. And the same thing where it's after practice, and I think this may be the first or second day, and we asked Natalie like this. We're trying to get a feel for the team, and like, how would you describe your team? And she just, again, straight, serious face, doesn't blink, and just says, "We're killers." And just you could feel it again, just the intensity of wow, like she really believes that. And every week she would remind us how this team is full of killers, and that's because that's who she is. She that's how she prides herself on. It's a lot of Mamba mentality. I know she grew up in LA or Orange County, and she watched a lot of Kobe Bryant, but she's been raised with and under the tutelage of Doc Rivers and Ty Lue, a lot of these Joe Mazzulla, a lot of these coaches who are very intense. So yeah. I think. Yeah, those are my favorite moments. I'm sure there's more I can't think of right now, but just the intensity that she could show you in practice. Yeah. And I'll give you one more. There's at the facility in Oakland, the gym is it's at the Marriott, and the gym is separated by like just this long hallway, and there's a door, and you can kind of hear, if you stand close enough to the door, you could hear. And I just remember there's one time, I think it was like maybe post All-Star break that you could just hear. I could hear yelling. And you can't hear what she said, but you just hear it, and it's it's that wall is pretty thick, and you'd walk by sometimes, and you could just hear how intense it is at practice, and it's like, wow, like this is something else. So she's definitely one of the more intense coaches and one of the most authentic personalities. But I do think that's what players are drawn to with Natalie.
Interesting. Yeah. Let me think of okay. So one more thing before we move off of Natalie, because there's just so many great players on this team. I noticed that in the game when she's coaching, I mean, yeah, she's intense, but she doesn't necessarily go too hard on her players, let's call it. Like, I would guess, and this is why I'm asking, because you are there and you know better, that she's harder on the players behind closed doors, and then during games She's more like encouraging and whatnot. I mean, the only time I ever saw her like go one-on-one to a player was, I think Carla was having a bad game, went in there, a couple turnovers and whatnot, took her out, and then Natalie went up to her and talked to her and all that. And it wasn't like, in your face or anything. It was just like, honestly, it was very caring. And it just amazes me how she can kind of turn off that switch maybe, but I could be wrong. So let me let you describe that in more detail.
No, Rich, you got it right on the money. I mean, that's exactly how she is. When the game starts, she feels like she has a responsibility to protect her players. And so if you haven't read a lot through the season, like Natalie has not been shy about getting fined, going after referees. All that is part of how she protects her players. And that's kind of a good theme, I think. She could be hard on them at practice, demand a lot of them. But when it gets to the game, it's very, encouraging. It's all about, making sure that you feel okay while you're on the court playing the hoops. And I think that's, again, like that's where people respect. That's where the players respect her, because yes, when we get, when we're in practice and we got to work. But when we're in the game, like, Natalie, they know Natalie has their back. And I think fans have seen, if you just watch the games on TV, like she'll yell at refs, she'll cuss out the refs, or, she'll just go out and she'll hug her players. And I remember during the season, she talked about how she feels like she has 12 kids because she feels like that motherly responsibility to protect her players. And then after Minnesota, like game 2 happens, and she goes on that rant about the referees, and she blames the loss on the referees. And I think a lot of the national people who haven't been following the team are like, wow, that's really low. But in those quotes, what kind of got forgotten is like, she said, I have to protect my players. Mm-hmm. Like that's who I care about at the end of the day. So she is one of those coaches that if she feels like her players are done wrong, she is not afraid to go at whoever she feels like has wronged them. So I would say when it gets to the games, like as supportive and as respectful to these players as possible.
Yeah, she's awesome. All right, let's quickly go through your origin story, because the first thing I noticed is that, dude, you are so young. I mean, you get to start out now as the, is it right to say full-time Valkyries reporter, like what's the difference, right? You are doing that, and Golden State franchise, and we're definitely on the map, and like you're the one covering that. Like, how did you get from where you were to here? That's amazing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, for me, if we would go all the way back, I remember I was in high school. I kind of like you. I played hoops. I went out to all the Phil-Am tournaments. Played AAU ball. Went to Granada High School in Livermore. Played for the great Karan Johnson out there. But I remember I got hurt. I think my sophomore year I got hurt. I broke my hand, and I remember I was really low on credit. I wasn't paying attention. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention to school. So I was low on some credits. My counselor was like, hey, like I only got 2 classes open for you that you need to take, or you can't, basically can't pass this year. And I said, okay, give it to what are the 2 classes? So the 2 classes were, I believe it was like pottery and then journalism. I really didn't know what journalism was at that. Like I was like 15, 16 years old. I didn't know what that was. I just thought maybe we're going to write, notes in a journal or something. I didn't know what it was. So I signed up for journalism. The teacher there, she said, this is the school newspaper. You guys will be writing for the paper. And from there, I remember I didn't really like it at first. And then I wrote something on our basketball team where she was like, you have a pretty good way of writing, so you should kind of continue this. And so I continued throughout high school. I wanted to play college basketball, but I just was not, I wasn't big enough, and I got hurt a lot. So I went to a community college where I met Marcus Thompson, who was the senior columnist at The Athletic. I went to Las Positas College, and he was my professor there. And so from there, we just kind of built a rapport. He taught me everything I needed to know. I went to San Jose State, after that, and I got a couple internships. And then the way I got this job, I graduated. It's funny. I graduated. I have a son, and I had my firstborn son my last semester of college. And I was trying to figure out, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But then just very fortunate that this opportunity at the San Jose Mercury News opened up to cover high school sports. I took that job. And from there, I worked about 1.5 years. And then this Valkyries thing kind of popped up, and they were looking for somebody to cover it. They didn't really know how they wanted to. And I stepped in. I said, hey, I love hoops. I'd love to cover something new. Like I said, we didn't know we didn't know if this was going to be something that people were interested in, or if people were going to, continue to watch after the first couple games. But I think after the first week, we realized, that we need to keep a beat on this. This is something that people care about. So, that's kind of how I got into the Valkyries. I know it's a long-winded way, but it was amazing. I'm just blessed that the opportunity opened up.
Yeah, like, hey, a high school counselor that counseled well.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's funny how Steph said he would have been a high school counselor if he wasn't a star basketball player. And when he said that, I was like, I still haven't heard one good story of high school counselors, and then you just gave a good story. So yeah, I'm glad you found your way into journalism. And then San Jose State, writing for San Jose State isn't too bad, because I'm pretty sure one Hall of Famer, Mark Spears, might be reading your articles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Mark Spears. I will say that there's a bunch of us. There's Mark Spears, the great Monty Poole, Darren Smager, who used to cover the A's, and that was a big high school guy. A lot of us are from State, man. We run deep out there at State.
Yeah, and Monty's my guy. He was my buddy on the beat when I was on the beat with the Warriors from like 2013 to 2022. So that's I'd forgotten that he went to San Jose State. Totally forgot. So thank you for the reminder. So I'm gonna have to tell him that I talked to a Spartan today.
Oh yeah. It's like a little fraternity out there at State. We know when we see each other in the press box, we talk football first, and then we reminisce. And it's been, Monty and Mark are two of my good mentors. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's get back to the Valkyries real quick, and let me know how much time you have left. But I just, like, we could go down the list one by one, but that would take forever. So what are like top 3 memories from behind the scenes of this team that we might be surprised to know? Like, for example, like if you were to say, oh, I saw Kate Martin hit a 3/4 court shot. Actually, we can see that. We know, she's awesome. Yeah. Now, something really quirky maybe, and definitely whether she's in the top 3 or not, can you actually do something on, say something about Kayla Thornton, because I don't want to forget her, Yeah. Now, the keys to the car were given to Veronica Burton, rightfully so. I do believe she deserves all WNBA honors. Like, she is so darn good. But your top 3, 4, 5 quirky things you remember from the season, doesn't have to be like, it could just be a quirky thing that kind of shows us their personality, maybe. And don't forget Kayla Thornton, though, because like I don't want to. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll end with Kayla, but here's a couple. So the one thing, if you cover the Valkyries, and this is something like super behind the scenes that like no one knows but the reporters, but if you cover the Valkyries, so what they usually, the way that media availability works is you can go to shoot around. I believe 90 minutes before the game, you have the opportunity, if you want to talk to some of the players. Everybody, after the first week of games, everybody knew you cannot talk to Janelle Salone. Now, it's not anything she does wrong, but Janelle is so almost like Natalie, just so intense. And I remember the first time I tried, and I was the first one to like really tell everybody this. But the first time I tried, she goes, "Hi, obviously you don't know me yet, and you don't know my routine, but my routine is I don't talk to the media before games, so I'm not going to give you any answers." So I remember that day, like I wanted to write something about her, and she just was like, "Yeah." I asked her a lot of things, like, how did you fly in? What's it like right now? Like, what's like, what's Natalie like? And every answer was, "I'm sorry, I'm getting ready for the game. I'm not going to talk to you." And it was, I'm totally cool. Like that's the answer you're gonna give, and it's awesome. But Janelle, I mean, just shows you how intense she is. She's so focused. Because it's funny, like you get her on an off day, or you get her, at practice or after the game. She's the sweetest person. It's just funny. Like once the game start, like once that the day the game starts, it's like nothing matters but hoop. And I think that's awesome. Like as I know some reporters might find that a little bit annoying, but I thought that was awesome. I was like, this is someone who's really intense. The other one,
wait. Before you move on to the next one. Yeah. So a couple things came to mind. Is number one, you should probably tell her, oh, you know what you should do next season when you get a chance? Do the Marshawn Lynch. I'm only here because I won't get fined because I don't want to get fined. And then the other thing is, I'll bet you a really good in for her is that everyone is pronouncing her name wrong. The only reason I know is because I actually have friends who are French, and there's a follower in our chat. Usually, he's not here tonight. That is from France. My mom learned French, so like I have this affinity towards French. So I think how it's done, and I'm gonna see my French friend, and I keep forgetting to ask her. So next time for sure I'm gonna ask her. But they tell me it's like a nasal sound. So if you ever need me to help you practice this so that you can get it in with Janelle, it's like salon. So the UN is like a nasal salon. But it does come out Americans like salon, which is slightly off actually. And I'm sure because French people always like don't care, it's all good, you speak English, so your language sucks and our language is better. Anyway, so they're not going to complain about that. But I think that her name hasn't really been pronounced the best way just yet, and so it's salon, and then it's like nasal. If you get that,
I gotta practice that, man. I should have hit you up before the season started because I know, especially in the arena, like, and it's no fault. Again, like it's no fault of anybody, but I do hear different pronunciations, and so I think, when you watch TV, I think most announcers just like you said, they go salon, but like it is nice. I mean, it is good to hear the correct pronunciation of what like it really is, because I know that that means a lot. Might not mean a lot to Janelle, but like for us, like we definitely want to get it right.
And Bruce, he's Haitian, but a lot of influence from being influenced by the French. So
yes.
So we'll figure. I will let you know next month exactly. I'm going to get my French person to just record it. But okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but who's next?
All right. So the other thing, this is just again like stuff that we only see, but maybe I think there's some clips on Twitter, you might see it. But one of the things they do, like after shoot around or after practice, they like to do like this half court contest, and they'll shoot a bunch of half court shots. And for some reason, it always felt like Kate Martin got the half court shot. Like no one else could do it. It was always Kate, so she got like a knack for always doing it. But I always enjoyed their little routine after practice. It was like they had their half court, shot contest. Kate usually wins, and then after you would get like a little dance off. Like they'll get in a circle, and like everybody on the team would cuddle up, and it's like the team manager, it's like the PR staff, it's the trainers. Everybody gets in the circle, and they kind of call out a random name, and someone has to dance on the spot, which I thought it was always kind of cool. It was always kind of funny to see that. But I think again, it speaks to like just the comfortability. I don't really see teams do that. Like that's not something I see. So I thought that was always cool. And then on topic of Kayla,
the best dances, like the ones going down the hallway. That's like so cool. Like, can I pay admission to watch you dance some more? It's like that one's pretty cool. The other
like a Natalie Nakase apparently dances as well. So I have never seen her dance, but the players have said to me that she does dance. So that is kind of funny.
That's nice. I'm glad she can. Like, it's no problem. They can't get her on anything.
No.
I forgot another thought I had when you mentioned Janelle pregame. It's interesting because the NBA does not allow. You can go in the locker room, but the players are not required to speak to you, and most of them don't. So I find it interesting that in the WNBA, they do have that, because I've seen that, like with Caitlin Clark pregame.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it is we don't get the locker room access. So I think for them to make up for it, they do the 90-minute on the court
Oh, you don't have
access.
post game locker room? Oh,
So
okay.
post game is just the two players and the coach.
Gotcha.
And so like it makes it, it is a little tough because like obviously you don't know what happens in the game. And so in terms of access, like you are kind of basing it helps a little bit because then you're trying to get your story and whatever whatever you want to write, you try to get that early on because you only have that 90-minute access, or if they have shoot around they'll have access then too. But I do think it's a little bit, it's definitely different. I know that the players, in rare cases you might be able to get a player after the game, but it's definitely different. I would say the access is very similar to kind of like the NFL in a way. It's like they try to get everybody you need at the podium. That way no one really gets left out. So I think it's definitely different that way.
All right. Keep going. What else you got for us?
So I'll give you a good Kayla Thornton story. I mean, and this is post injury. And so this was actually just kind of, my weeks are escaping me, but I believe this was just last week.
Cool.
So she's hurt. She's rehabbing. But what's interesting is like, if you look at other sports, if you're rehabbing, like you don't have to be with the team. Like you could go and, do it at home, or if you're still in the city that you are playing in, you could do it in that city. It's not a requirement for a player who is, out for the year to be with the team still. But I think it was just really great just seeing KT as they're going through their run in the playoffs. She's on the bench. She's in a cat, or I guess a brace with some crutches, and she's just cheering them on. And you could kind of, and one thing with KT is like she's a very emotional player. Puts her heart out on her sleeve, especially when she plays. And you could kind of see it in her face, I think, over the last couple of weeks. Like you could just tell she wants to be out there. She wants to be a player that helps them. Obviously she can't, but I just thought it was really cool to see KT like just interacting with her teammates, still pointing stuff out. Hey, like, this defense, they're playing this defense. You should do this, or just giving those words of encouragement. And I think that really helped them. I talked to Kate Martin the other day about it, and she was such a vocal leader on the team. And for her to go down, like it was really, that midway point of the season, like there was really some uncertainty. Like, are we going to finish this year in the playoffs? Like we're in a spot to do so, but are we going to do it? And I think just having KT there and having her sit on the bench for, the last couple of weeks and seeing her support the team and be at shoot around and, watch them practice, that meant a lot to the ladies on the team. It was really really a cool thing to see. And I know it's like not like a crazy like KT thing, but for a player who's so quiet, she's on the court, she's not quiet, but for in the media, she is very quiet. But to see her back and supporting the team and acting like she never left, I thought that was really a good sign for the culture. Because again, like she could have definitely rehabbed back in Texas where she lives, or been away from the team for a little bit, rehabbed in San Francisco, but not go to the games and things like that. But she was at games, she was at practices, and it meant a lot, not only to the players, but I think to Natalie Nakase, to Ohema Nine, and to see that and give some encouragement to that team.
Cool. Two like closing questions for you. One, what is the exact injury, unless you're not allowed to say or whatever, with Kayla? And then what do you think of next year and honestly a potential lockout?
Yeah, I think I'll address Kayla. It just hasn't been made public. A lot of the reporters have tried to get that, and just not something made public. It is an injury. I think you could kind of assume what the injury is based on the timetable. So, it is a serious knee injury. It is something that was going to keep her out the rest of the way. So either like a meniscus or an ACL, one of the joints, tearing. I think it's safe to say it was one of those. And just judging from the like the cast she was in, and the crutches she was on, it was definitely a serious injury enough to where she can't walk still as of I think 2 weeks ago or last week. So I think on that front,
Is there like a reason why they won't be specific? Is it something like with the WNBA or the team, or?
I think part of it is like the WNBA, the culture of it is still very, in my opinion, just a little college-like, where they're not gonna, if they don't have to say what the injury is, they're not going to. And I think another part of it is like, yeah, that, you know, we asked Natalie Nakase when it happened, and apparently it is something they want to keep Kayla and her side wants to keep private. I also, I mean, I don't want to speculate too much, but I mean, we do have, like, this kind of leads into your next question. She is a free agent, and you know,
they have other leagues. You know, the WNBA is not the only. Yeah, it's not the only game in town for them. So yeah, I could see why a player might want to just keep that hush hush.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think with Kayla, I mean, yeah, you know, it's a player, again, like when you're going to negotiations, I'm sure like other teams probably know and probably figure it out, but yeah, you probably don't want that stuff out in the public, especially a player like Kayla, who was literally having the best season of her career up until that injury, probably wants to negotiate. This is probably her last chance to negotiate a contract that's going to be, you know, seismic, right? She's been a role player for most of her career. This is probably, I mean, she's an older player. I believe she's about 32. And so this is going to be a critical juncture for her. So we'll see. And then just going into like your next question, I mean, in terms of a lockout, I think it's super interesting. I mean, we could talk for hours about this new CBA, and obviously the WNBA Players Union is pushing. I mean, they're probably not going to get a deal done October 31st from everything that's been reported. But I mean, if we're talking about a lockout, like the league has, in my opinion, doesn't have as much leverage as, you know, other leagues in the past, whether it's the NBA lockout, the potential NFL lockout, the MLB lockout. Like leagues in those, the league in those lockouts, in those situations, had a lot of leverage, right? The WNBA doesn't really have that. When you look at just the landscape of how women's basketball is played, these players can go to another league and make just as much money, if not more, than they are making here. So there is options where if you're an NBA player and there's a lockout, I mean, they tried playing in Turkey, they tried playing in whatever, Europe, didn't really work out. You have injury risk and you're not going to make as much money. With the these players, they have Unrivaled, they have Athletes Unlimited, they have the Euro League. Like there's just other revenues of places that they can just go and make revenue and, you know, make more money. So the league, again, that's one thing. And then if you look at just kind of the league in itself and how they've made money, like they just signed a new media deal, 10-year media deal with ESPN's a part of it, CBS is a part of it. How would it look if the first year of that deal, you have to tell your partners, oh, yeah, we have a lockout, we're going to miss games? That's not going to go over well. So the players know this. The players know they have leverage. It's just now the question is, how much do you push? Because if you're the players' side, you do want to get to a point where you're making money, right? You want to make, you know, you want to have the cap and have more roster spots and, you know, have a little bit more say in the schedule. But at the same time, you also have to look at, like, we also, you know, this is our last chance to negotiate, but we need to think about the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 15 years. And how would, you know, we need to think about not just now, but the future. And how can we negotiate a deal that's not only going to help us now, but help the generations coming up and make sure that the league is going to be in safe hands. So it's a balancing act, but I definitely think when you look at the WNBA, the CBA, like the pressure right now is on the league. If they don't get a deal done, this is going to be a catastrophe, especially because you still have that Caitlin Clark power engine. You have to use it. You have to capitalize on it. And if they're not going to capitalize on it, it's going to be really unfortunate. And so as we look at the growth of the league, they're in a situation now where I'm not saying that the league has to bend over backwards for every demand, but you do have to concede some things. We are in that point. They have all the leverage. You cannot play hardball too much. And if you go into a lockout, you're really risking losing the momentum you just created. Yeah. Thanks for that. That's awesome. That's awesome to know. I mean, just from talking to you like that and learning from you, I feel a lot more confident, because sometimes, you know, us, you know, more casual fans kind of don't know what's going on. And then we've been so used to hearing the word lockout
and it's just like, oh well, they're probably going to lock him up just because there's, right now it feels like there's a stalemate of sorts. But like, I'm glad you pointed out all those things and how the players do have more leverage than usual. So that's kind of cool.
And I'll say this too, on the Valkyrie side. I know we just had exit interviews. I just wrote a story kind of touching on the CBA and how that's going to affect the Valkyries. I mean, I think it's interesting because it's not just the CBA and the free agency that's coming out. I mean, we're having an expansion draft. I mean, two new teams are coming in. They're going to be able to pick off a couple players off the Valkyries. It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a super interesting offseason. It's going to be definitely a noisy one. We'll see. I know Kate Martin said there is, some angst around who's going to get protected, who's going to leave, who's going to have to leave, and who's going to be pushed out. And we'll see. I know it's all up in the air with the CBA, but I think if and when that gets figured out, we're going to have a really interesting, I think, offseason on the Valkyrie side.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Yeah. So where can people find you again? And what other things are you working on? What are some things that we can catch you working on between Valkyrie seasons?
Yeah, so you could catch I write all my articles are on the San Jose Mercury News at the East Bay Times. You can catch all my Valkyries content there. In between Valkyrie season, I'm covering high school football and basketball. So I'm out Friday nights and doing Friday Night Lights, and then I'll be doing some high school hoops up here in the winter. So you could follow along there again over at the San Jose Mercury News, East Bay Times. I'm on Twitter. Nathan Canilao is my handle. You can follow. You can catch all my content there as well. So that's I am definitely we're just ended the Valkyrie season, but can't wait to get back at it.
Yeah, have a great high school season as well, and we'll catch you as we get through those WNBA labor negotiations and the Valkyries become a topic again. I mean, it's next April. It's not too far away, so that's kind of cool. And keep grinding, man. I really admire your hustle. You're tweeting from various high school games on Fridays, and it's like, dang, this guy really hustles, really does walk the streets, man. So and the fact that you're part of the Asian community is it's good to see, and we're proud of you, man. So keep going.
I appreciate it, Rich. Well, I'll say this before I go. You mentioned playing up in the Filipino leagues. I played in a couple, and I know the grind. And so you talked about like the below the rim play, and I still remember. That's funny. I grew up in Chicago, and I played for a couple teams out there, and going into Canada and going to DC and to play in these tournaments. So if you guys ever want to catch like nice high level basketball, a lot of layups, a lot of fast breaks, a lot of fancy layup packages, just stop by your local Filipino league, and Rich knows. Right? They'll get you right.
City, every major metro has a Filipino league. It's just like it's just mind-boggling. Like there should be a documentary on this somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone needs to make a movie. Yeah.
You go to the game, you have your game at whatever 2:00, and right after you're eating, lumpia and adobo, and you're going to somebody's house. You guys are doing karaoke, and that's the life. That's every Saturday for some of these Filipino players. So it's awesome.
And I do love the fact that you were actually a baller. So like you actually know what you're talking about when you watch the game. So it's comforting to know that. So cool, man. Thanks for hopping on, and we'll definitely see you next Valkyrie season, maybe like a preview in, I don't know, late March or something, or next time some big news drops that's Valkyries related. So thanks for taking the time, Nathan, and I'll be watching your stuff.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Rich. You have a good one.
Yeah, and thank you, Ryan Leong, for hooking us up. Appreciate you,
shout out to Ryan.
All right, have a good one.
There. You too.
All right. Take care. So, that was cool. I know there wasn't a whole lot of people on here today, but, it is kind of crickets before the Warriors season starts, which is why we moved the summit back to happen after Media Day. And also, once we cut this this video up into pieces. We're going to do that more and more because I think, YouTube algorithm is kind of quirky, and we had a live stream that had basically 3 different topics. So that's going to confuse the algorithm, and it's not going to bring a whole bunch of people, especially it's not even basketball season in the Bay Area anymore, especially when the Valkyries are out. So we'll cut this live stream up into 3 pieces, and maybe it'll catch more traction. I didn't even tweet it out because I knew that, algorithms wouldn't do a whole lot with it, but we do now have everything on video, and now we can download it. So one more time, I do want to, first of all, say thank you to Bruce. Good to have you, Bruce. She will be fired. I do want to, thank you for that. We got to screenshot some of these, or one of these. Thanks, Bruce. Like, again, Bruce with the awesome, testimonials or what have you. And get that one archived. Whoa, I lost all my windows. Hold on, there we go. And then I'll sign off one more time. We got Love Your Dubs Summit coming on. I do even have a nice little let me just share with you. Why not? Let's share with you this thing that is about to hit Instagram. You'll get a first peek at it. Assuming it's okay with Kelenna Azubuike, who is one of our speakers. So let me airdrop that over. Little teaser here. Okay, ready for the teaser? Here we go. Airdrop, receiving video. There we go. Let me make sure we're at the 142 mark. I want to write this down in my notes, which is in the description and will be in the comments. 142.30 mark. Kelenna Azubuike teaser for loveyourdubs.com. And prior to that, talked at length about WNBA CBA. Okay, let's load up the file. Let me rename this to Love Your Dubs teaser Kelenna. Here we go. Dun dun dun. Premiere.
That, and I was like, okay, I can't not wear this. What what's the point of having it other than just to kind of show it off here and there if someone comes over? But I had to wear it here and there because it was that nice, and I appreciate him for that. That's just the kind of guy he was.
You could think of it as your championship ring, sort of. I mean, it's not a championship.
Basically.
I mean, yeah, you got to keep that in the vault, just like a championship ring. That's
Absolutely.
amazing. I love that.
It's shiny. It's shiny. It's worth a lot of money too, and he just bought it for it.
It's almost like he knew,
Yeah, he knew something special was brewing here. But also, it was just because that's the way he was. He liked to take care of his rookies.
Yeah. Cool.
He was cool with all of us, and he wanted to buy us that. He wanted us to have it, and I was like, really?
Check this out. Ooh. It's pretty neat. Kind of generic, but better than nothing. Loveyourdubs.com. Yeah, so that is a teaser. Steven Jackson gave Kelenna and the rookies something during that We Believe season. I'm sitting here listening to it. I'm going, what? And then I was like, hey, it's like you actually have something to remember the We Believe season by. And that's special. I mean, other than Paul Wong, who has the We Believe placard, or maybe some people have the We Believe t-shirt, actually, like, there's not a lot of keepsakes from We Believe, but Kelenna has the keepsake, and it's from Steven Jackson. So credit Stacks for that. And that's it for me tonight. I'm going to go work on the summit some more. I forgot to tell Nathan that I would have read his article had I not been busy working on the summit. It's nuts. It's totally the hardest thing I've ever done. And I can't even say it's like, it's so difficult, but it's a good challenge. And yet I keep going. You just got to keep going, and you got to believe. There's just no other way to do it. It seems impossible sometimes to pull it off, to get a clip like that you just saw from Kelenna. Like, oh, it's hard, and it's hard to get people to say those cool things, and all of the above, man. I have stories that just up and down roller coaster, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because you got to go and do hard things. Go do the hard thing. No, actually, go do difficult kind of stuff. Next slide.
Today he came back. He came here today talking about how he got a new blicky.
For the uninformed, what's a blicky?
There we go.
Oh, you don't know about no blicky, man. You had a blicky? You told me you had a blicky growing up. It was a shooter. Yeah, that's a blicky.
More fire!
And Abrate. See ya. Monday, maybe.